Hey, hi, this is Everetts Watercolors, and I'm at my studio, and had a little technical difficulty earlier, so we're back on the air, so I'm going to go ahead and record. And welcome aboard. I'm broadcasting from Chesapeake, Virginia to the world, and I'm on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. And in the studio with my wife tonight,
Hello.
and she'll be broadcasting, she'll be checking the chat room and also checking on the broadcast. I got the chat room live, so if you have any comments or questions while we're on the air, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so tonight, simply drawing with Everett. I have a little deal here about starting with drawing with color. So let's get started on my presentation here, so we can get something accomplished. My first question to you all is, where does color come from? Does anyone have an idea or even think about where does color come from? Basically, color comes from light. You have to have light, the spectrum of light available in order to see color. You can't see color in the dark. You can't see color at nighttime unless there's a light source. So the whole basis of color is the fact that we have light. And the easiest way to understand color, let me take you over to my overhead camera. The easiest way to understand I got to change the, let's see, I got to come back here. I got to change the camera setting. Let me see, where am I? It's not moving. Here we are again. We're having a problem with it's not responding. Okay, I'm back on the main camera. Let's see if I can go up to the close-up camera. Overhead camera, let's see, overhead camera. And that's not what I wanted. It's not live. I can't get it to come down. It's working, it's coming, we're live on the, I can't get my mouse to move. So I can't get it to move here. Overhead, I got the overhead, the close up. Maybe we can operate, no, I can't get that working. I can't get the mouse to move over. So I'm really out of a functional area here. Let's see what's happened here. Okay, all right, let's try that. Let's do the overhead. Let's do, I'll try a little bit of deactivate, activate. Let's see, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, now it's moving. All right. The best way to understand color is to think about the rainbow. The rainbow. And you know what? In the graphic pencil, you can't draw the rainbow. Because drawing a rainbow, you need color. So that's one of the real secrets here about learning a little about color. Well, if we've studied the rainbow, and I'm sure way back in the grade school or kindergarten or somewhere, you learned about the ROY BIV, which is the number of colors in the ROY G BIV, which stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And that's where we all started learning about the colors. But there's a way we do now in art that's a little bit more organized, I think, than the rainbow, is the color wheel. And the color wheel, I think about it in several different ways. Studying the color wheel is very important. But we have yellow, and we have red and blue. Those are the primary colors of the color spectrum. Yellow, red, and blue. Those are called primaries, which means they can't be mixed with any other color. Now the secondary colors, the green, the orange, and the violet, can be mixed from the primaries. For example, green can be, you mix your blue and yellow and you get green. And the same way with orange, you mix yellow and red and you get orange. And the last one is you mix red and blue and you get violet. So those are the secondary colors. So let's talk about colors. That's just a base. Now another thing I want to talk about is complementary colors. That's another important concept. The primary colors, the secondary colors, those are things you should know and understand. But the next one, most important, is the complementary. For example, yellow, the opposite color is violet. So the complementary of yellow is violet. And another one is very important, which I'm going to show tonight, is the complementary color of blue is orange. Orange and blue are complementary colors. And the last one, the complementary primary part, is the red and green. Red, the complementary color is green. But let's talk about the orange and blue complementary tonight, just to get something started. So what I was going to do is I'm going to show you my color pencil set. In Everetts Watercolors, I have on my website I have 150 set of colored pencils, and you can buy them individually or you can buy them in sets of 12. Now this happens to be the 150 set. There's all the reds. Then you go down, here's all the yellows and greens. And you go into the rest of the greens, and you get into the blues and purples and pinks. And then you get into the gray area. And then these are fluorescents down here. So 150 colors are available on Holbein's color pencil sets. But these are beautiful. I'm going to use my small set over here of this. This is my 150 set that I use. Now, so I have all the colors. I'm going to use just a few here. I'm going to take just a few here that I have on my I take this when I go on plein air for travel. So I'm going to use the, let's say, the orange color. And I'll take the blue color here. This is royal blue, and this is orange. Those are the two colors I'll demonstrate tonight. Okay, those two colors. And these are complementary colors on the color wheel, orange and blue. So let's take an example. I'll take you over to my close-up camera. And as far as my example tonight, I gotta wake up the camera again. The camera's asleep on me. So let me wake up the camera. A little technical difficulty tonight. Let me see. Activate. It should be okay. Let's see. No, it's not working. Close-up camera. Having problems here. Here we go. Okay. All right. Okay, it's moving again. Okay, I'm going to take an orange, and there's a real orange I took out of the grocery store, and I'm going to set it up on a blue background, and you can see where the contrasting colors really, the opposite colors really attract, because they really make the orange look a lot brighter when it's by itself. Next to a white background, it doesn't show up as well, but you put it next to blue and it really comes out. So that's where the complementary colors really come out when you put them side by side. They become very, very dramatic and very, very bright. So I'm going to start drawing this item right here. So I took this background of blue and an orange, and what I did, I set it up in my still life box, and I put a light on it, and I took a photograph. So this is what I have here. I have the orange and a shadow on a blue background. Okay, so that's what I'm going to draw here tonight. So let's set that aside. So how do we get started? Well, I'm going to start out with drawing the orange. And the orange, I'm going to say, let's take a regular, this is a piece of just plain copy paper, just printer paper. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an orange. What else do? I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm just going to get the outline. And I'm going to use a HB pencil. Just get an outline. We'll get a nice round circle. Okay, I like that. Okay. And once I get the shape I like, okay, then I can take an eraser, and I can wipe out the lines I don't like. Okay, then I can go ahead and start drawing in. So let me take for the orange, I'm going to start in with now a colored pencil, and this one here, I got it sharpened, and I use the side of the pencil for coloring in. I don't use the point, because that gives me too much of it wears the pencil down too quickly. So when I go ahead and paint this in, and you know, drawing with color is the next step to painting. And because we got the color, so I'm just going to rough this in here. I've got another one here already. I'll show you one I've already started on, but this gives you an idea of when I go in. I'll use the color pencil to get the color. Now, if you noticed in the photograph, there's also a highlight. There's an area where the light's hitting the orange right here. There's a light area. So that light area, I'm going to leave blank here. So I'm going to go around that area. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave the white paper there right now. That's just going to be the white area that the light has shined on the object. Okay, that's the lightest part of the orange. Okay, now I can keep working on this color. Okay, so I keep adding more color to it and get it darker and darker. Now the blue is the opposite color to orange. It's the color that's opposite to orange. And I'm going to use the orange now with the blue, and that will give me a complementary color, which will be the shadow pattern of this particular orange. Because as the light comes down and hits the top, there's a shadow edge of the orange. If you look at the orange here, you're going to see it. You don't see the color with the light hitting it. There's going to be a shadow around the surrounded edge, so the shadow side is going to be duller or darker. Okay. So the complementary color does that. By putting the blue in with the orange, it's going to become a shaded. It's going to dull down the color, and it's going to give it a shadow side of this particular color. So I'm using a complementary color to give me a shadow pattern. Okay, I'll put the real color down, orange. I left the highlight here, which is the highlight, the white. I left it white. And I can continue on shading this, keep adding more color. I can smooth out the edges, make the edges sharper. I can keep working on the drawing. It's a drawing using color. All right, now, if you look at the photograph, there's also a shadow pattern which falls behind the object. Depending on the angle of the light and so forth, we'll have a cast shadow. Here's that shadow I'm trying to put in with the blue. There's a shadow pattern behind this side here. Then the cast shadow from the orange is over here. Because the light source is coming from here. Here's the white area, and then the shadow part's down here. So let me draw the shadow shape in. Depending on the angle of the light, it can be a short angle or a long shadow. It can be a short or a short. So this comes off the edge here. So I'm roughing that edge in. Okay, that's the angle. That's the shape of the shadow. That's the shape of the shadow, okay, behind the orange. That's because of the focus. Yeah, okay. I didn't get the focus set up tonight. I can do that in a few moments here. Maybe I'll do that so we can see the plane. Because with my hand moving around, the camera could be jumping a little bit. So let me go. I'm just going to go ahead and give you some instructions here. So now I'm using blue now because I put this on a blue surface, and that's going to be the cast shadow on the blue surface that I put it on. If you look at the photograph, I used a blue background, and so the shadow is going to be blue, but it's going to be darker than the surrounding blue. The shadow is going to be darker behind the orange. Okay. So I can start out here with a dark blue for the shadow. And again, I can use the pencil now to sharpen up the edge. In fact, I'll do that. Come around here, I can sharpen up the edge. Make it a nice dark edge around the orange shape. Then I can go ahead and keep coloring this in. If I keep layering, it'll get darker. I put in one layer, and I can go back in and do another layer, and I can keep relayering, and the value of the blue will get darker and darker. Okay. So far I put in the local color of the orange, which is yellow. I got the highlight, which is the lightest part. I've got the shadow side, which I put in a little bit of blue on that to give it I used the complementary color to put in the shadow on the orange right there. That's the shadow of the orange away from the light. And then I got the cast shadow on the surface of the paper, or in this case the blue background which I had in the photograph. Okay, I can use one more color now. Let me go get another color, and I'll pick a lighter color. I'll pick a lighter color now. This is the other color I can put around. This is, in other words, a lighter color blue, and this is using cerulean blue, which is a lighter blue. And I can use that in the background, so that you can see the differences now. There's a background color behind the orange. So I'll just put enough on here so we can describe what areas I'm done, what areas I've done. Okay, so what I've demonstrated here, let me bring it up real close. What I've demonstrated here is I've done the body of the orange in the what I call the base color, which is orange. I got the highlight, which I left white, because that's lighter. I did a shadow of the orange because there's a form shadow of the light fading off because it's a rounded edge. Then I have the shadow on the blue surface, which is a cast shadow from the orange based on the light, and it's darker. It's darker than the background, and that's why I use this cerulean blue. It's darker than the. If you look at the photograph, you can see here the dark blue, which is what I'm using the royal blue for. I'm using the cerulean blue to simulate this lighter blue back here, the lighter blue in the background. The light blue, then I have the dark blue shadow, then the cast shadow on the orange. Okay. So that's the other part I have. So I have, so there's the parts. There's the orange, the shape. There's a highlight. I got the shadow on the orange. I've got the cast shadow on the blue background. And I've got the blue background, which is lighter. Okay. So that's the elements here that I've shown in this drawing. So I've demonstrated here the number one, using the complementary colors in a drawing, orange and blue, and I've shown you how to do the contrast of dark and lights. So let me show you here one I did earlier of probably an easier one to see. Okay, now here's one I did a little earlier, and you can see. Let me go over this a little bit. I used the same colors. I used the orange on the orange itself. I left the white there as a highlight. I put the dark blue as a shadow, and the light blue was the background color of the background. And over here, a little demonstration. You can add layers of color. You can start out with a light layer and add another layer and add a third layer, and you can blend those together. Color pencils are very easy to blend. Just by putting the color down on paper, and you can take another color and blend with it on top. So you can blend colors and you can make a third color. Okay, so that's how you blend with a colored pencil. You put one color and you lay another color on top, and then you can blend it. And you can get darker and darker and darker by putting more layers, adding more pressure. So you can make up your own colors along those lines. Okay, and there's also in most colored pencil sets that you have, or you can buy what they call a blender pencil. Okay, and this is a blender pencil which also will blend the colors. What that does, that smooths out the color on the paper. So it'll be, if you get a small set of colored pencils, you also want to get a blender pencil. Okay. Now what I've done, I'll go one step further with this. I'm going ahead and I've intensified. I took the colors and I added extra layers of orange, and I blended some, and I did it again on another piece of paper. Now this is the blended orange, now with the blended color. You can see how smooth the colors blend. There's the highlight. The white paper is the highlight, and the shadow color on the orange back here, with adding the blue to it. That's the shadow color. Then the cast shadow is much darker than the background of the setup. Okay. So that's the final result of doing a drawing on plain white paper with a color pencil set. Now that's just a quick demonstration of what can be done using colored pencils. And I would recommend the Holbein color pencil sets because they're the ones I have in my supply, everettswatercolors.com. And they blend so nicely. They're smooth, they're bright colors, very intense, and they're beautiful. And you can start out with a simple 12 set basic colors, and you can add individual colors as you want to add to your stock. Okay. So in review, another good tool I have would be to have a color wheel, because there you can look at the mixtures that you can do in different colors. If you mix here's a mixing chart here that you can use for adding different colors together, and that's a lot of fun if you want to get into mixing. Here's an example here where I made brown out of the blue and the orange. You get a light brown color or a dark brown color with the blue and orange colors right here. So it could be a brown, it could be a dark orange, depending on how you look at it. Okay. So that kind of wraps up my summary tonight. I'd like to invite you back next week. I'll be returning next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for Simply Drawing with Everett. And until then, also I come on at 2 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays with my watercolor demonstration. So I'll be on live at 2 o'clock on Thursday with my watercolors, and I'll be back again on next Thursday at 7:30 with Simply Drawing with Everett. So I'll see you next week, and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and pass on the information to your friends and let them view in also. So I want to say you have happy drawing, happy coloring, and hope you try that. And you can I have some links on if you want to share your results or share your drawings, I have some links on my video where you can go to download your drawings on Everett's Watercolors Art Group on Facebook. So I'm going to sign off now, and we'll see you next week. So bye for now.